How would you describe the reaction to being in yet another tournament and sort of the frame of mind of the team, I guess?
I mean, that's a great way to put it, really, is business-like, because this is the fourth time that's happened. And, I mean, it was just business as usual, really. I mean, for some reason, I got a little nervous, and then I thought, why am I, we're not even doing anything right now. Why am I nervous right now? And, everyone calmed down. It was a great mentality to have. I mean, our team, I was very happy with how everyone handled it. And no one got overexcited. I was really impressed with, initially, right after the locker room, everyone was focused exactly on Iowa State. And, I mean, that's great. That's what you have to have.
Do you know anything about Iowa State at this point? And they obviously like to shoot it and score it a little bit, and it's going to create some issues defensively for you.
I've actually watched them a couple times because my girlfriend and her family are from Iowa, and they're actually really big Iowa State fans, ironically, that all the teams that we play. Like 10 minutes before we got selected, I was like, we're going to play Iowa State, watch. She was like, God forbid. And then that pops up. So, I mean, I've watched them a couple times, and they are very explosive offensively. And, I mean, that's good. The way our team's been playing defense lately, though, is, I mean, there's no team that's more explosive offensively than Marquette and Louisville. I mean, we played pretty well against those two teams. So I think we'll match up very well with them.
How's that going to be this week with the Iowa State side of the equation in your general area? You're preparing for them.
They've already before the tournament this morning. My girlfriend and her family have both declared that if we matched up, they would cheer for me, which is that's how it was. I was glad that ground rule was set early in the day, so no confrontation happened.
Great, thanks, Jack.
Yep, no problem, bro.
Wes?
Yeah, hey, Jack, just one quick one. Just wondered your take on how the freshmen handled the Big East tournament, and like Mike said earlier about you guys handling the news today the way you did and business-like, what you expect from them moving forward in their first NCAA tournament.
I think the freshmen have done a phenomenal job, really. I mean, neither of them showed any signs of being really starstruck of the Big East tournament. I mean, if you're not starstruck at Madison Square Garden, I don't think anything's really going to faze you. So, and I think that they handled this. No one in the locker room mentioned anything past the first round, which is, I mean, considering they're freshmen, that was really surprising, and I was really impressed by that. And I think that they're going to do just fine and handle this like it's just another game and try to go out there and have fun.
Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
David, are you still on the line? Tim, do you have a question for Jack?
No, I'm good, Bernie. Thank you.
Any follow-up questions for Jack?
Jack, as you're sitting there watching the show, did you almost have to remind yourself, we are going to the NCAA tournament because it took so long for it to pop up?
I don't know. Every single year we've been in the last, except for my sophomore year when we were a 2 seed, we've been in the last part of the bracket. I mean, my freshman year we were literally the last team put up on the board. So it doesn't help for the not being stressed out part. But it is what it is.
Jack, go ahead. How different is it for you guys when Pat's as hot as he was in New York? He struggled the games coming into that. How different is it for you guys when he's hitting like that?
I mean, it's phenomenal when Pat is hitting those shots, because, I mean, it really kind of helps to show how our team has changed since Scott's gone down, to have Pat step up into that role and realize how good of a player he actually is and fulfill it. I mean, it makes everyone's job a lot easier. It makes my job a heck of a lot easier, because then there can't be as many double teams, and it's easier to swing the ball. And now that he has that confidence, I mean, our team, I think, can beat anyone.
When you see, Jack, a team like Iowa State that loves to shoot the threes, what pops into your head against a team like that, as far as how that impacts the way you yourself are going to play the game?
I mean, it does impact it a little bit, because I watched their big man shooting a lot of threes and realizing how different it's going to have to be guarding ball screens. Our coaches are going to do a phenomenal job this week getting us all prepared of making sure we rotate well and get out on all shooters and even the big man. And I mean, it's going to affect my game a little bit more in terms of rebounding, because if I'm guarding a guy on the perimeter, it's not going to be as easy to get back in and crash. So that might have a little bit of effect on it. But, I mean, we'll take all those things into account and do some good scouting this week, and the coaches will do a good job of making sure that I get used to it.
But when you're playing a three-point shooting team, do you think, okay, I've got an advantage now inside, and it's more of a perimeter team?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I make sure that I'm going to make sure that the post is very, very it's made aware of very early in that game, and try to get them in foul trouble early, because they can't shoot if they're on the bench with fouls. So, just got to go out there and just establish that post early, because it's hard to get beat up in the post and then want to just shoot threes when you're getting banged down on the other end. It's not as fun anymore. So just got to make sure we establish the post early.
Jack, do you like the idea of it being Dayton, that it's not too far away for both you guys and for fans to be able to travel as well?
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame fans travel really, really well, so that's not as much of an issue. But a lot more students will be able to make it because it is on a Friday, so they'll be able to get down there. And I mean, I don't really mind traveling. When we do travel to NCAA, we get that nice big plane, so it doesn't matter if we go on a bus or the plane. So it's gonna be fun.
Jack, it's a little cliche, but do you guys go into this looking at it as a new season?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. But we had very good changes from in the Big East tournament from the actual regular season. So we want to grab some of the changes that we made as a team from that tournament and help transition them into this one, because we made such good strides in that tournament. I mean, the way we played against Marquette, I honestly felt like we could beat anyone in the country that night. So, I mean, if we can take the things that we took from that night and move it forward, I think we're going to have a great time this tournament.
Jack, as senior captain, do you spend much time with Cam this week, just maybe trying to make sure mentally he's in a good spot for you guys going into the tournament after the way the season is wrapped up for him?
Yeah, I mean, Cam can handle it himself. I mean, he always says he's a big time shooter and a big time scorer. I don't really have to worry about him. But that is funny you mentioned that, because I have been talking to him lately. He wasn't feeling too well today, and just trying to get his mind right. And I mean, I've been very happy, as I said, of how our freshmen have acted to this news and not looking forward at all. I mean, that's the biggest problem you have sometimes with young guys, is looking forward past the first game. And the way that Zach and Cam and Austin have looked at this is a one-game tournament, and I mean, I'm very proud of how all of them have been acting.
Jack, I know you said your girlfriend's family says they're cheering for you, but are you going to go out of your way to make sure they don't get tickets just in case, or are you still going to help them out?
No, I mean, if I'm going to give them tickets. If I see any Cyclone chance, I'm going to make sure they don't go to the next game. No, but I'm going to try to help them out, and I mean, they're great people, so I know that they've been supportive all year long.
Jack, I know it was lost in the loss and the time situation late the other night, but just your thoughts on scoring over 1,000 career points here.
I mean, my dad was the one who told me. I wasn't even actually that aware of it, because I kind of lost it with how our team had been playing lately. And I mean, I think I'm really happy with how it happened. I never had any idea after my sophomore year that I would even come close to scoring 1,000 points, just how far away that was. And having the last two seasons finish the way they have has just been, I mean, I'm very happy with how my career has gone, and I want to finish it strong.
With what you were able to do last year, did that maybe become the first time where you maybe looked at it once or twice and said, maybe 1,000 is within reach? Yeah,
I remember last year I was on the ESPN, and I was just like, let's just for jokes add it up and see what would have to happen. And then I remember I told my dad about that it would be reasonable, and he was like, oh, I already knew that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I already knew that you're probably going to get it. So I was like, all right, thanks for the confidence, Dad. So, it's really great that it happened. I mean, Eric's actually pretty close too, so, I'm really proud of him and proud of myself too.
Jack, what does it mean to make the tournament 4 straight years?
I mean, it's huge, because one of my main goals is picking a school to come to was I wanted to make sure I made the tournament, and at least once, and then to make it 4 times is just incredible. When I have some friends, I have a friend on Northwestern, I have a friend in Illinois who sometimes haven't made it all those years, and to be a part of a program who has made it all 4 years, and it's just become routine really for us to be in this tournament. I mean, that's huge to say about what this program is and how great it's been over the years.
This is a team that likes to shoot the three a lot, they score it a lot. What's going to be the level of defensive awareness, and where do you guys really have to be aware on Friday night?
I think based off their scoring ability, we're going to just have to defend like we've been practicing to defend all season. We've had games where we've held teams to 40, 50 points, and I think that's what we want to do in order to come out with this win.
Kind of just a little bit off the subject, but how much baseball do you get into here in March? It seems like it might be one of those things where there's a little dabbling going on. I mean, can you just walk me through what if anything, you do baseball-wise here in the winter?
In the winter, I do some baseball whenever I have free time or whatever. This is a time where it becomes a lot less free time, and hence less baseball because of the tournament, and because it's not baseball season yet. So, I mean, that's something I worry about whenever it comes along.
Your confidence level, I mean, you obviously were confident leaving New York now that you kind of sit back and look at it, where is that confidence level, and what do you need to do this week to make sure your effectiveness, your production remains at that level coming up?
I think my confidence level is kind of the same. I think New York was kind of like a growing point for me, and kind of to get over the deferring if I don't make the first 2 shots, and that's something that I think New York helped me with, and I think that's something I'm looking to improve on and build on going into the tournament and continuing down the road.
Great. Thanks, Pat.
Wes. Sorry.
That's all right. Brian pretty much covered it for me anyway.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sorry. David, are you still on? Tim?
Pat, I do have one. After that performance in New York, you'll definitely be a marked man on the scouting report. Obviously, you don't change your approach, but kind of going from, as you said, deferring to others to being a guy that they are very much going to be focused on. What's the key for you kind of starting out the game?
Try to use my cutting ability and stuff like that to get an easy bucket. I think that always helps, and that always helps our flow on the offensive end in general. And that kind of shows that I can do a little more than just shoot the 3 and shoot behind the arc. And I think that's going to be something I have to focus on. Obviously, if the scouting report says I'm a 3-point shooter, I got to, not necessarily change that, but just kind of adapt to it and try to find other openings.
What's one advantage or a main advantage for you guys to get out of the grind of this Big East and that all the familiarity of knowing each other?
I think one of the big advantages this year that we may not have had last year was that we did win 2 games in the Big East, and 2 games that were against very good opponents. And I think going into the NCAA tournament this year, it's like you win 2 games to survive. You try to go at each game, it's win or survive, and I think that getting used to that is going to help us moving forward into this tournament.
Okay, thanks, Pat.
Anybody else for follow-up questions on the phone?
What is it about the NCAA tournament last year that it was maybe kind of was hard to handle, or this year when you go into it this year, say, okay, I know what it's all about. I'm not going to be fazed by that or anything like that.
I think when you look at it last year, there was a lot of guys going through it for the first time. A lot of guys that even if they weren't going through it for the first time, they were going through it for the first time as key guys on the team. So I think this being the second time around, I think we're ready. We know what to expect. You look at the game last year, we were winning most of it. It was just at the end we kind of let it go, and that's something that I think we'll be ready for this year. We'll be ready to close. We'll be ready to – we know the toughness the teams play with because it is win or go home, and when people's backs are up against the wall, you get another gear that they have, and that's something that we got to bring to the table as well.
How different is the game for you when the ball's going in? How much more fun is it? How much? How does it look different?
It's great when the ball goes in, but it's something that I think it kind of shows what kind of player you are when you are playing well when the ball's not going in, when you figure out ways to score or impact the game when you're not hitting your jumpers. And I think that's something that I was happy with over the weekend was I missed my first 2 shots of 1 or 2 of those games, and I was able to continue to shoot the ball with confidence and impact the game in other ways. And I think that's something that I'm going to have to learn from and continue to build on in order to be a better player down the road.
How did Louisville end up defending you in light of now knowing that you are a guy that's going to let it fly?
I think they were very conscious of the 3, so I think that's something that obviously I have to build onto my game, and it's something that I have to adapt to because obviously other teams will also be conscious of the 3, and you got to bring out other dimensions of your games when they do that. And I think there's different ways to do it, and Coach Inglesby gave me a tape of Mike Miller and how he moves without the ball, and that's something that I can learn from and use to my advantage going forward.
When you are facing a team that shoots it as a 3 as often as they do, does that in any way impact the way you approach the game? Do you get caught up in the momentum of the 3-point shots being fired rapidly?
I think we got to just play our offensive game. I think we got to take the shots when they're open, and we got to take the drives when they're open, and we got to take the low post touches when they're open. I think we've been very good at finding the man with the open shot. And sometimes we even pass up the open shot because we don't think it's open enough. And so that's something that I think we got to, be ready to do, whether it's threes, whether it's mid-range, whether it's drives.
How much more confident are you after this last week in the Big East?
I think very much more. I think, in my personal opinion, it's something that I've kind of been waiting to do, string together a few good games, and I think that will kind of help me throughout the rest of the season, throughout the rest of my career, just to know that I can do it and to not have the ups and downs and inconsistency that I've had maybe over this year.
How much fun was that Wednesday?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun also because we were winning. That's something that at the end of the day everyone on this team wants to do. They don't really care how it's done. And when we win as a team, it's something that's very exciting.
Is there an added element though when you know you've been one of the main catalysts to make sure that you guys did win those games?
I mean, it probably makes yourself feel a little bit better, but at the end of the day, a win is a win no matter how you get it.
How much do you guys need to win a tournament game?
We need it bad. I think this is something that we need to go into like it obviously is the most important game of the year, but it's the most necessary win that we've had all season, and it's something that since we made it to the tournament, it's not good enough to just make it to the tournament. This is a team that we made it last year and we lost heartbreakingly in the first round, and so right now all that matters is that first round game.
How much do you remember last year? Does that fuel you guys? Is that in the back of the head the whole time?
Definitely. I mean, it's been going through the head throughout the whole this year, summer, end of last year, whatever it was. And I mean, I know it fuels a lot of guys on our team, and that's going to be something that's going to be fun to play with, that fuel during this first round game.
Sure, Eric. Coach Bray said the preparation for Iowa State may look a lot like the preparation for Villanova, just the awareness of the arc. So what was the preparation for Villanova, and how do you be very aware of guarding the three-point arc and all that? Has it changed things?
Well, the preparation for Villanova was they take a lot of threes. We have to be up on shooters at all times. They use the ball screen a lot, and those were like our three main keys playing against Villanova. And I think we're going to have the same mindset going forward against Iowa State.
What are the challenges in that? I mean, it's not every team that jacks up threes like they do, so it's a little different. What challenges is it when a team relies that much on beyond the arc stuff?
Well, the challenge is definitely in transition, always finding a guy and getting out to him in transition. Because with a team that shoots so many threes, in transition, those looks are usually open because your normal mindset is to run back to the paint, and against a team like that, we have to find people early and meet them at the 3-point line.
Thanks.
Wes? Tim, do you have any questions?
Actually, Brian touched on it. Thanks, Brittany.
Okay. Questions for Eric?
Eric, can you talk about just going into this tournament with it basically being a new season for you guys?
We're looking at this as a total new season. It's just like the first game is the start of something new for us, and I think we're all really excited for it. Just to get started in the tournament.
Eric, when we talked to you on media day, you said you watched how the Xavier game ended on a daily basis, basically. I mean, what kind of motivation is that? Do you still watch that? Will you watch it this week? How have you kind of maybe processed that at this point now the tournament's about to start again?
I don't think I'm gonna watch any more of that game. But that game has definitely been always in the back of my head as a determination to get back to this point and get a win there. So I've been really excited to get back to the NCAA tournament all year, and I'm just excited that this opportunity is here now.
How would you, I guess, just kind of describe the mentality, or how much more prepared are you mentally as a team this year after having been through it? There's an expectation you guys are going to make it 4 straight years for the program, 3 straight years for you. How does that kind of, I guess, change the approach or just kind of the mentality?
I think it just it changed our mentality because we have been here so many times, but last year the fact that we didn't get out the first round, it ups the ante a little bit for this first round game against Iowa State for us, and I think we're all approaching it as pretty much a first round championship game. It is, and I think that's the only thing we're focused on, and that's what we're going to get ready for.
When you're facing a team that shoots threes off as they do you have to then, you individually and as a team, think we may have to shoot more threes than normal to keep pace?
Well, I just think we just have to score more. I don't know if we have to shoot threes as much as we do. It's a little bit like DePaul. DePaul doesn't shoot many. I'm not sure how many threes they take, but they really score the ball a lot, and that's one of the games that we always go into and saying that we're going to have to keep up scoring wise to beat them. So I'm not really comparing them to DePaul, but how much they score is like that.
Even though you lose to Louisville Friday night, where's the confidence level of this team saying we're getting better, we're playing maybe our best basketball consistently going into the NCAA tournament?
I think everyone's confidence is pretty high. Everybody played pretty much played pretty well out there in New York. I love the confidence Pat has going for him right now. Jaren played really well. Sherm coming off the bench is huge for us. And I just think that we have to keep that up a little bit. Keep that up. And then for the NCAA tournament, we're gonna have to some other guys are gonna have to still step up. And it's just gonna be everything is going to matter a little bit more.
How do you balance we have to, you and Coach said, we have to win a second round game. We have to win a game as opposed to we have to win a game and there's so much pressure on us that we get all tied up in knots trying to get that win.
Excuse me.
How do you balance that? Not feeling the pressure of having to win a game, but still playing well enough to win on Friday night.
I'm not sure how much pressure is it to win that game, but I just know we all want it really bad. We all still think about last year's game and not getting out of that with the win, and that really being our only focus. So this, we're just going into it as we have to win, but we have to play our game as well. It's no extra pressure, but it's the NCAA tournament, so it is what it is there.
Eric, do you like the fact that you guys are pretty close to South Bend, that it's in Dayton for both you guys and fans?
Yeah, for sure. Our fans can get out there to Ohio, and hopefully we get a good turnout.
Jaren kind of asked the other guys this, but when a team scores it like they do and relies on the three like they do, what has to be the approach defensively? Where are the key areas of attention that you guys have to pay to them?
Just limiting their clean looks. They're gonna shoot them. They're gonna make a few, but as long as we challenge the shots and make it difficult for them to get good looks, we should be all right.
We talked all year about last year going the first round. How do you approach this game? Eric just said it's a first round championship game, which you probably heard. What's the approach, do you think?
Yeah, it's like that. It's guys just not wanting the season to end like it did last year, and everybody has that mindset, and everybody's gonna be playing really hard.
Great. Thanks, Jaren.
Wes, do you have any questions? Tim, do you have any questions for Jaren?
I do, Jaren. Just one. Jack kind of mentioned a few minutes ago that at some point during that Big East tournament, especially against Marquette, you guys were playing your best ball and kind of hit your stride. What are you guys doing best when you're playing at your best, for instance, in that comeback and the rest of the day against Marquette?
I think, just defensively, limiting them to just one shot. When Jack and Tom and Garrick and those guys and even Pat are on the boards like they are, and we can limit them to one shot and, get a rebound and run a little bit and get clean looks, it just helps our offense.
And I guess this is probably not something you want to overthink, and it doesn't matter that much now that you're out of conference season, but you won a couple games with huge deficits and just really bad starts. What happens? Obviously, you're into the game when it starts. What happens there when a team hits you that hard and you guys are able to focus and come back, and how do you avoid getting hit that hard?
I feel like whenever that happens, it's mostly, our offense isn't really working. We're getting our stops and, we're playing defense, but, just knowing that as long as we play defense, we're going to have a chance to win. But, offensively, we just, got to be more smooth to start the game.
Thanks, Trey.
Any other follow-up questions from those on the line?
Any thoughts or feelings when you see that you're a 7 seed? How much does that play into anything?
We really don't think about the numbers. I mean, I guess when you first see it, it's like, oh, it's a 7, maybe we expect it to be higher. But really, regardless of who you play, it's going to be a tough team. All the teams really have a chance to win. So, especially when you get into the middle seed numbers. So, we knew it was going to be a tough game regardless. So, we're just looking forward to play now.
Coach has talked about how you and Eric have wanted to kind of make amends for the first round loss last year and the challenge of that. And Eric's talked about watching old tape. How do you take all what happened last year and turn that into a positive?
Just remembering how it felt, how it felt for our season to be over just like that. Guys just, upset and mad. And, now here we are a year later having a chance to, make amends for it. And, we're going to play as hard as we can.
The fact that most of you guys were in a key role last year for the first time in the NCAA tournament, you think that may have impacted the way you played in any way last year?
Yeah, for sure. It was, like you said, it was most of the guys, first time, actually playing a role in the tournament. And, we felt like we had the game, but, in those key situations where we needed to make a play, we kind of didn't. So, but this year, we're all back, and I think we'll be ready.
Is that the kind of game you look at the stat sheet afterwards, and it's like, how in the world did we not win this basketball game?
Yeah, it's definitely something like that. We felt like we had the game, and, we ended up losing it. But, it was just a learning experience, and here we are now this year. So, we learned from it.
Jared, you spending time with Cam this week, just making sure he's mentally in a good spot, the way New York went for him.
Oh yeah. We've talked to him. He knows. He's a scorer. He's gonna keep shooting no matter what. We just gotta, get him going. I feel like he knows that we need him. He knows that he's gonna be taking a couple big shots in the tournament. So he's fine.